All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the April 18th, 2023 Board of Education regular meeting at 7:32 p.m. Kimmy, good evening to you, Matt. Roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Berardi?
Here.
Mrs. Tech? Mr. Guava? Here. Mr. Mazzano?
Here.
Mrs. Ziegler? Here. Mr. Tribuzio?
Here.
Mr. Palazzo?
I'm here. Okay, thank you. A quorum is established. We're going to stand for the pledge. We're going to be led by the Pledge of Allegiance today by the fourth graders from Lee School. Okay, so you guys can lead us to stand up.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Berardi.
Sure. The mission of North School District 80 is inspiring educational excellence in a nurturing environment.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, celebration of success time. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ravioli.
Sure. So we have some of our fourth graders who participate in the Kids Heart Challenge. So I'd like to invite them to come on up next to Mr. Woodward. And we're going to ask that they all just introduce themselves so we know who we have here. And we'll talk a little bit about the Kids Heart Challenge.
Yeah, Mr. Woodward, one of the PE teachers here at Lee School.
Hello, my name is Cristiano Augusto. Hi, my name is Orlando. Hi, my name is April. Hi, my name is Kylie. Hi, my name is Smoke. Hi, my name is Nicholas. Hi, my name is Basi. Hi, my name is Mohammed.
Yep, and these were some of our fourth graders that got to participate in our fourth grade versus teacher basketball game, which we like to do for the Kids Heart Challenge, which is a really fun, awesome fundraiser that we do here at Lee School for the American Heart Association. And it's a cool experience for the fourth graders where any of them who fundraise a amount of money for the Kids Heart Challenge, they get to play in a game where they're undefeated against the teachers. And I will say that this year is the year I like to play a little bit, facilitate things. I hardly had to do anything. These kids beat the teachers all on their own. And that was an awesome accomplishment. But another huge accomplishment was that they helped us raise the most money we've ever raised here at Lee School, which was $14,400, which was the most we've ever raised for a And out of like 550 students, we had 160 students register, which was a really awesome thing to see with our participation in school, and it was a really fun few weeks. And shout out to our coach, Mr. Sajra over there, that helped run practices and organized a lot behind the scenes for them, and it was a huge help. So great job for the fourth graders that are here.
And we have a nice photo from the event too. And also thank you to Mr. Woodward and Mr. Palazzo, our PE teachers, for facilitating all of that. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Great job. We'll stay in celebration of success.
Yeah, I'd actually like to celebrate two things, actually. One is actually to bring a little bit of awareness. It is April is Autism Awareness Month. New statistic I was just sharing with our staff members is we now have approximately 1 in 36 children is diagnosed with autism, so it's a very common set of disorders. It is certainly not something that I think back many years ago we would have looked very different in a public school setting, but now we've really learned to nurture and to help grow many of these individuals who are neurodiverse, so it's really a chance for us to celebrate and to bring awareness to something that is very common and really something that we strive to support every day. The second thing that is currently within the realm of special education is also that we have been working as well with the Cooperative Association for Special Education, or CASE, to actually support a Brookfield Zoo trip for our students with visual impairments. So this is a really cool opportunity that they'll be having in the first week of May. where our students who have visual impairments are actually going to go on an audio guided tour of the zoo. They get to actually experience, the animals by touch, and they're not necessarily focused on that visual component that I think many of us just take for granted. So really, really wonderful things to just kind of celebrate this month. So.
Over at Giles, I'd like to celebrate our Giles Battle of the Books program, coached by Mrs. Quitno. They had an amazing regular season, and they finished in second place. So congratulations to our Giles Battle of the Books.
Okay, all right, thank you everybody for sharing that.
I would like to say something, I don't know if this is time for it, but I don't know if everyone knows, but this is President Palazzo and Mr. Mazzano's last board meeting, and I wanted to celebrate their success in this last 4 years and thank them as well. Louis, I know your goal and vision when you came on the board was your focus was B&G and buildings, and you have done a great job utilizing your strength and your knowledge. The buildings are in a great place. Put a plan together to continue the success of that. Mr. Palazzo, 4 years ago, you got on a sinking ship and you took control of it, and you've done a great job leading this district and other board members. And the district and the community should be happy of your success and what you did for the district. So I just wanted to thank you guys both and hope to see you guys around. I know you're going to do great things for us.
Appreciate that. Thank you for those kind words. Okay. We'll move on to our action item. I'm going to ask the board to consider the agenda. We're going to make a modification to it. Line item 18A4. 18A4 currently reads contract year 2022 through 2024. The modification is, it should read 2023 through 2024 for that respective contract. Any discussion on that? So I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda as now modified.
Motion.
Brian, seconded by Lou. Kim, roll call please.
Mr. Trivizio?
Yes.
Mr. Mazzano?
Yes.
Mrs. Blatz?
Yes.
Mrs. Fedor?
Yes.
Mr. Barney?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Then that carries. Yeah, I'd like to recognize all our visitors who are here tonight. Fourth graders, thanks for being here. Thanks for leading us in the pledge. And you guys are doing great things. Keep up what you're doing and keep doing great stuff. Correspondence, there's no correspondence to report since our last meeting. Public participation. Louis, you want to give that a look?
Welcome to the North School District 80 Board of Education meeting. At each regular or special meeting which is open to the public, the Illinois School Code and Board of Education policy require members of the public and the board's employees be afforded time to comment or ask questions. The board's agenda designates this portion of the meeting to recognize those visitors and provide an opportunity for comments or to ask questions. The board asks that speakers identify themselves and limit comments or questions to no more than 5 minutes. The 5 minutes may be shortened if the president must conserve time to give the maximum number of individuals an opportunity to speak. Speakers are reminded to conduct themselves with respect and civility towards others. The board also requests that speakers refrain from identifying individual students or staff. Speakers who choose to identify specific students or staff do so at their own risk. Please keep in mind that the opportunity to engage in public comment at a school board meeting does not insulate speaking from libel violation of privacy. Lastly, if someone wishes to present an unresolved complaint to the board requests that you contact Mrs. Gusick. Thank you, and the board now looks forward to your comments and questions.
Okay, thank you, Renzo. We have one sign-in tonight, that's Trish Showcase.
Hi, I'm Trish Schulteis. I am the co-president of the Norwich Education Association of Teachers. And I just want to say on behalf of the Norwich Education Association of Teachers, we would like to thank our retiring board members, Mr. Sam Palazzo and Mr. Lou Lozano, for their years of service to District 80. We'd like to present you with a token of appreciation for your dedication to our school family. We wish you luck and happiness on your next adventures. Thank you very much.
Thank you again for that. FOIA requests, there's two. I'm not going to read the first one. It's on the agenda. It'll be on the building's website tomorrow. It's quite lengthy. It's all. FOIA request 1. FOIA request 2 was Mr. Vince Esty, who requested the following information: copies of the district's current mission statement, copies of any previous mission statements provided. They have changed from the past. Please provide the records in electronic format, preferably transferable via email or online file hosting service, such as the Dropbox. Again, those will be on our website as normal tomorrow morning. Now we'll turn it over to our presentations. Mrs. Weaver.
Yes, we tonight are going to hear from Lee School first on the school improvement plan for 23-24, and then from Giles School. Lee, if you want to come on. We have the teachers from our district leadership team who also serve as our building leadership team.
And here we all are. We got, this is Sean Raviola, principal of Lee.
I'm Wendy Guy, I'm a kindergarten teacher at Lee.
Hi, I'm Marley Prado, I'm the speech therapist at Lee and Giles. Valerie Holly, first grade teacher at Lee.
Felix Saji, fourth grade teacher at Lee.
Lindsay Percival, second grade teacher at Lee.
Patrick Woodward, PE teacher here at Lee.
Trish Schulteis, third grade teacher at Lee.
All right, so this is a team that worked really hard on putting together this school improvement plan. And first step is always reviewing our mission and vision, because that's what needs to guide our school improvement plan. So Mrs. Schulteis is going to take it away.
The mission of Norwich School District 80 is inspiring educational excellence in a nurturing environment. Our vision: our students are the focus of all we do at Norwich School District 80. The student-centered classroom will promote an independent, collaborative, and motivated learning environment. Our administrators, teachers, and staff will set high standards in a safe, nurturing, and positive school environment, which will prepare our graduates to take on their future with confidence. So this is the makeup of Lee School, the makeup of our students.
One thing I'll say is those numbers are continuing to grow too. That's from our last school year's Illinois school report.
And then one of the strengths of these schools is that we have a really supportive environment. Here is results from our Applied Essentials survey that the students have filled out. It was filled out by 99% of our student population. And it shows very strong performance for peer support for academic work. Another very strong performance for academic personalism, and a continued strong student-teacher trust, really showing evidence that students feel like they're in a safe learning environment, they feel like they can trust their peers, and that they feel respected by their teachers as well.
Another strength is that we provide students the opportunities to receive a well-rounded education. The students all receive daily specials in art, music, media, and PE. And we have partnered, Norwich School District 80 has partnered with the Park District to offer enrichment programs after school for our students. And it ranges anywhere from athletics to arts, and there's cooking classes, lots of fun things. We also offer after-school tutoring programs for students that have been identified for some programs. We have our second step curriculum for social emotional learning. It focuses on a lot of emotional recognition and emotional regulation, as well as teaching empathy and bullying prevention.
And we are also offering, we're currently going to be offering summer school based on response to the colder weather laws for students who qualify.
One of the things we're most proud of here at Lee School is our Tiger Pride program, and this is our behavior intervention program where we're building a positive community by building relationships with the students and helping them to be and do their best. And the way we do this is through establishing a common language or a common mantra at our school, which is be safe, be respectful, and responsible. And and I'm sure these kids here will agree that Tiger Pride has the kids have a sense of ownership to their school. And when you have an sense of ownership and belonging, you tend to want to do better. And we do a lot of activities to promote that sense of community with our buddy programs, spirit weeks, and our Tiger of the Week and Tiger Pride Top Tiger programs.
And these last couple of years, we've had a lot of great building and grounds improvements, but we still do have some challenges, and that stems around our HVAC systems, but some different technology, different temperatures across different classrooms. Disability, accessibility, especially with all those different stairs that lead, some plumbing issues, some classrooms currently with the water, classroom flooding that happens, especially after some big rainfall, and unfunctional play space equipment with the courtyard and a dated environment overall that's slowly starting to be improved. And then many classrooms have been updated this school year in these last couple of years with some great technology. We still have a few more classrooms left, but we're almost there.
So that gives a little bit of a rundown of some of our overall strengths and challenges, but we had to dive a little bit deeper into some data to determine how we can craft goals and problem statements after reviewing our data. So we reviewed a lot of data, including MAP scores, iReady, diagnostic assessment scores, demographic data, as well as the SABRE screener, which is a social emotional screener. And from there, we then looked at problem statements or things that were kind of layering through the data. And that's what we'll move on to next.
So some of the problem statements we have surrounding math games. Right now, over a 3-year period, an average of 52% of our students are making the gains they need to in our math testing for math, and 61% of students this year met their gains in iReady math. For reading, students are making an average of 54% expected gains on math testing, and 54.4% of students on iReady reading testing. And we also looked over some social emotional data, not just the academic pieces, but looking through that lens as well. And this fall, 13% of students were flagged as having some or more risk on the SABRE's assessment, the social emotional assessment that all students are given.
And then we created a goal to target each of our problem statements. So for math, we're pushing for 70% of our students to make their individualized growth goal based on our iReady math data, going from our winter 2022-23 school year to our winter 23-24 school year.
And going along with goal number 2 for ELA, we're sticking with that 70 theme. 70% of our students will make their individualized growth goal based on iReady reading data from winter of 2022 to 23 to winter of 2023 to 2024.
And our third goal is SEL based. So each October, February, and May, 100% of students who are identified as needing additional support will have access to evidence-based interventions to support their SEL growth. And each month, 70% of students participating in evidence-based Tier 2 or 3 SEL interventions will be on track to meet their individual goal. So this looks like kids participating in SEL groups with either a school psychologist or social worker one time a week or more.
So I had to find a little bit of an inspiring quote, and I guess this is what I found. But when it's obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. Now, at our last board meeting, we shared out some of our progress with our school improvement plan, and we didn't meet all of our goals, but that doesn't mean that we, lower the goals. Actually, we bumped them up because we want to raise those expectations. But we also have to think about what we're going to do differently, and that leads us to our action plan, which we have a little bit of a visual representation here. You can actually see the full SIP plan in the board book, but we'll also have that on the district website. And so one of those key tenets that we're looking for is our professional learning communities. That's teacher collaboration. And really, collaboration centered around 4 questions. What do we want students to learn? How are we going to know when they learn it? What are we going to do when they don't? And what do we do when they already have that mastered? So that's the focus of our PLC work and that collaboration.
MTSS, or multi-tiered systems of support, is another big focus of our SIP plan moving forward for the next year. We're refining our systems and our procedures, what gets students into interventions, what has the students out of interventions, what interventions are we going to be providing students. We're reviewing our MTSS handbook as a district, making sure that we have all those things in place so we can start the school year off strong. And we're also really focusing on providing professional development to our staff, how to progress monitor students who are in interventions, and what interventions can they provide at the tier 2 level inside their classroom. Those are some of the big overarching goals we have surrounding MTSS.
And with engagement, we're going to continue this with some school, community, school family partnerships. With the community partnership grants that we're working on right now, and with families at the evening nights, we have America Night coming up for 4th and 3rd grades, musicals, art shows that we have coming up, the evening night that First and Second Grade just had, continuing those, along with some parent universities to educate parents on the different things going on in school. MTSS we had a couple weeks ago. So these are just some ways that we're going to further engage parents.
In terms of flexible grouping, we're building our schedule next year to have win time, which is what I need, and we're implementing that in both our reading and math areas, so we can have flexibility and movement along the grade level, so all the students are going to get what they need, whether they need academic reinforcement with some subjects or skills, or if they need enrichment, so every child will move along their own learning continuum.
And as for goal setting, we've made our bigger goals, but we want to really hone in on the kids and teach them how to identify what some of their goals might be, and teach them how to set goals and track their progress and really take ownership of their goals and their progress.
Professional development's ongoing here at Lee School. As Ms. Cornell said, we are currently doing a lot of professional development on MTSS. We're also touching a lot on special education. This summer, there's plans for more MTSS work and training, along with some reading, professional development, amongst many other things. So it's always happening. We're always improving.
And then here's a model of our 3-tier model of positive behavior interventions and support. You have tier 1, which is a whole school level, reaches all students. Tier 2, which is some students that need further support, and tier 3, which are students that really need that extra support as well. This really helps create an environment for students and helps give students those tools that they need to grow socially and emotionally. And then on a tier 1 level, we are working on professional development consistently as a staff. We have a curriculum here at Lee School that we're working on called Responsive Classroom that's going to help everyone be one model, work together, have the same continuous language that we use with our students. And then on levels 2 and 3, we'll continue to discuss. Ms. Jennings will take over. And then for Mrs. McCullough, we'll talk about what our committees are working on here at Lee School.
So our PBIS Tier 2 and Tier 3 committee this year heavily focused on our Tier 2 interventions, especially our check-in and check-out system, and just fine-tuning that system we have in place. Next school year, we're really going to focus on continuing to work on our procedures and systems that are in place for how we identify students that need social and emotional support, how we're moving students between tiers, looking at criteria for that, and just getting more resources to our teachers so they can implement tier 2 and tier 3 interventions, and getting it all together in some nice resource folders and MTSS handbook.
In our school culture and climate committee, we've now created 3 subcommittees within that committee. So the work that's being done there is focused on 3 different things. One is kind of looking at Paul Marts and revamping it, like looking at what the things are that the kids can buy, how many pods it costs, and maybe reallocating how many pods we're looking to give each kid per day, per week, so that it's a little more equitable across the board. So kids go into Paul Mart shopping with, a more equitable amount of pods versus big discrepancies. Another one is identifying and developing common themes in our second step program that we could transition and kind of double dip into themes for meeting topics, because there's a lot of overlap there with second step and meeting and creating that sense of community within the classroom and within the school. And identifying some common language to be used throughout the building to help, again, teach the kids how to maybe problem solve on their own with their peers instead of going directly to a teacher. So setting them up for success with that and teaching them how to do that.
So that leads us to making sure that we're monitoring our plan. We have to make sure that we're consistently following up on our action steps, making sure that we're reporting out, to the board on the status of those action steps. And we'll be doing that through our monthly BLT meetings, our building leadership team meetings, just to make sure that we're keeping things on track and moving things along, because we know what gets measured gets improved, so we need to make sure that we're consistently following that. So, thank you all for your time. Thank you to the building leadership team. I know this was quite a task, and I definitely appreciate all of them being here tonight to share this with the board.
I think Dr. Ravioli sold that a little short. The actual school improvement plan is 80 pages, and it was many meetings of planning it, looking through data, and planning these goals. So that's something that they worked on very hard to bring more achievement directions. So thank you. I forgot, I'm sorry, so excited about the improvement plans that I forgot to have the 4th graders come out and take a picture with the board. So can we just stop for 1 second and have that picture taken? And then 4th grade, we're happy to have you stay with us, but we understand that we need to leave also after the picture. So you guys can come up and stand over here. Sorry, forgot the picture.
Sorry. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry, we have too many
Okay, nice job to Lee School. So now for Giles School. This year we have our school improvement team, which I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves. I'll start with our assistant principal.
Christine Ahrens, assistant principal at Giles.
Todd Runner, 6th grade ELA.
Steve Laborcas with grade 6.
Taylor Kovacs, 5th grade special ed. Shannon Russell, 8th grade math. Brittany Team, school psychologist.
Judy Filiolo, 8th grade language.
And myself, Bobby, the principal. This team did an amazing job. They attended over 14 meetings, several hours, not only within those meetings, but above and beyond. those meetings, working on our school improvement plan. We did everything from dissecting every little thing that we do. We wanted to see where we need to grow, and we also wanted to celebrate our success. And as a school improvement team, that's what we did, and we'd like to share this plan with you.
So Giles School, we currently have 113 fifth graders, 125 sixth graders, 123 seventh graders, and our biggest class is graduating in just a few weeks, 138 eighth graders.
And as you see from this total, we have that's 499 students that we have this year. Out of the data that we've collected over the last 5 years, this is our largest year of students at Giles School. So we're waiting for that one more to celebrate our 500 students.
We have 32 certified teachers, 6 paraprofessionals, 4 support staff, and 2 building administrators to support all nearly 500 students. We really want that open.
Okay, our PRIDE program, so just like Lee School, we promote a positive school climate. PRIDE stands for positive, respectful, responsible, inclusive, determined, and engaged. And so our goal is for all students to exhibit these qualities or demonstrate what we refer to being as Giles made. Of our 499 students at Giles, 426 have not had any referrals this school year. PRIDE further promotes a positive school climate along with contributing to the community through the events that we have throughout the year. Some of those events include Grade War Challenges, Spirit Weeks, Red Ribbon Week, Canned Food Drive, the Angel Tree Collection, Letters to Service Members, Staff versus Student Volleyball, Basketball, and Dodgeball Games, the Great Kindness Challenge, March Madness, Rock, Paper, Scissors Tournament, our grade level Olympics, and Student Appreciation Week, and those are just some of those. Additionally, to foster a sense of community and belonging, the PRIDE program sponsors buddy activities. So our 5th graders work with 7th graders, and our 6th graders work with 8th graders, and once a month they have an opportunity to get together and do some fun activities. So overall, the PRIDE program promotes relationships, good decision-making skills, responsibility, and overall school success, and we are very proud of our PRIDE program.
And as you heard Mrs. Fig talk, 86% of our students, that's 426 students, had 0 referrals. Now when we get to trimester 2, we always tend to see a little trend as we take a little dip. But in trimester 2, we had 412 students who did not receive a referral, which is 83% of our student population. So, nice job, keep up the good work.
Presently, with our student population, nearly 16% of those students are receiving ELL services. 9% of those students have IEPs, and 34.3% of those students are identified as low-income students. Some of our strengths that we have at Giles is a committed staff. Nearly 65% of our teachers have master's level degrees or higher education, and 100% of our teachers have received proficient or excellent on their performance evaluations. In addition to that, our teacher retention rate has improved from 73% in the 2020-21 school year to 90.3% in the 21-22 school year. Academic achievement and acceleration, Giles is at or above this national average for academic achievement. Our students advance in school in both English language arts and in mathematics. We also are partnered with Ridgewood to allow students to advance in the areas of English language arts, math, and Spanish. And then lastly, we have a great parent and community involvement at Giles. Our parents are committed to partnering with staff. All parents and guardians are offered the opportunity to attend student-led conferences, and we see a great attendance for that every year. Giles also engages in many activities with community members and organizations. As Mrs. Fig mentioned, those would be like Salvation Army Food Drive and Angel Tree, letter writing to service members, as well as our relationships with the Norwood Park Township, the Norwich School Foundation, and our PTA.
I would just like to add for our advanced placement, it takes a whole village to help educate everyone. And I really would like to take this time to thank Ridgewood High School for their partnership. It's really great. We're a couple blocks away from the high school. Our students have the opportunity to walk over there and take those advanced placement courses. Again, thank you to Ridgewood High School for allowing us to be able to do that.
Okay, so we also look at a lot of data at Giles. One of the things that we really like to look really deeply into is, are our students making growth from their previous scores? So we use our NWEA math data to look at that, and it sets individualized growth targets for each student. And so what we look at is to see, are our students meeting that individualized growth target? If they're meeting that growth target, that means that they're doing something right and we're doing something right. So you can see here on this chart, we're looking at our expected gain, so that did they meet their expected growth for ELA, and it's broken down by grade level. What we can really take away from this is, if we pull that data together and we look at our aggregate data overall for all of the students at Giles, we're seeing consistent growth across time. So in ELA, over the last 5 years overall, we went from 55% of our students making growth to 57, 56, so those first 3 years were all around the same. Then we went up to 63, and then last year to 64%. So that was last winter to this winter of our most recent data collection period in January. So we're making some good growth. Our students are making some good growth compared to their expectations. And then we can also look at our math data on this next slide. Same exact set of information for a different assessment, that math portion of our NWEA math test. So again, here we can see the same kind of trend. We had a pretty big bump there in 2018 or 2019, 2020, so it looks a little different. But if we're pulling that all together and we're looking at our overall growth across time, we're looking at a 54% growth to a 73% growth, which is that big jump, back down to that 52, 54, and then again, last year was our biggest area of growth, which was, it's important because that's what we focused on in our SIP plan last year, is this area of growth. So last year, it was, from last winter to this January, this winter, 68% of our students made their expected growth target in math. So we're seeing a lot of really good things when we're looking at this specific set of data for our students.
Just that's 14% double-digit growth, so we're extremely excited about that.
We love it.
So as we look at the data and we think about where we want to go from here for the next year, we want to keep the pattern of having a math goal, an ELA goal, and a social emotional goal. When we look at the data, we got closer to some and kind of got a little bit closer than others. So we made a little bit of changes. So for this next year, we would like to push our students so that 72% of all the students in the school meet or exceed their expected growth on the math test in math by the end of next winter compared to this math one. And in language arts, we want to get it up about 70% on the language arts portion of that math test. One thing that stood out for us, we're looking at things, is the social and emotional growth. As we're looking around at the data, we noticed if we look at the referrals that are being submitted and processed and all that, you find an interesting pattern. You look at the top 10 kids, the 10 kid students with the most referrals make up a surprisingly large proportion of all the referrals that are up there. So these 10 students were responsible for 40% of the majors being assessed in the past year. And they were responsible for 23% of all the minors assessed in the last year. So that tells us that we've got some individuals that might be a little extra focused. So the goal we want to set is to find ways that we could kind of focus a little bit on value and kind of reduce some of these numbers on these kids. So our goal is to reduce from 40% to 30%, so the amount of majors they've got is no more than 30. We're going to do this in some steps. That's still a big chunk. We want to reduce their contribution of minors from 23% down to 17. You can see how that goes once we do our action steps.
All right, next steps. Where do we go from here? So you'll see one step applies to all three goals, and that is we need a program to address chronic absenteeism. We need students in attendance, right? For math achievement, we want the math team to continue to meet as PLCs, analyze data, and figure out where they can make adjustments to improve and address student needs. We want to maintain our MTSS committee, where they'll recommend interventions for our Tier 2 and Tier 3 students. For ELA, we like to say that everybody's a reading teacher, but we need to make sure that all teachers have the resources and strategies to identify literacy needs and then address them within their own specific content or curriculum areas. We're really excited next year to have a writing class for 7th and 8th grade students. If we get the gains we expect, and if resources allow, we'd love to expand that going forward in the future. For social emotional, we want teachers and paraprofessionals to get the professional development they need to address behavioral management within each classroom. We'd like to continue with our second step program to ensure our students are jobs made, and then really lead in our PBIs program with our positive incentives and our reinforcements.
What we do on our end is we have PLCs, Giles PLC meetings every morning. When we walk away from those meetings, we do ask ourselves these questions. What do students need to know, and what will they need to be able to do? How do we actually know that they've learned that content? What will we do if they haven't learned it going forward? And what will we do when they already know it? So how to help the students who are still struggling, as well as how to advance those students who do know what they're doing.
And this is a working document. We base all of this year's goals on last year's SIP plan. Every decision that we make at Giles, we tie back to the school improvement plan and how it's going to positively impact students. 2 things we took on this year was WIN. It stands for What I Need. And each student attended a WIN class catered to their specific needs. So that's where most students receive their Tier 2 academic intervention. We also really beefed up what we did with behavioral Tier 2 intervention with check-in, check-out. So we have the foundation established for Tier 2, so as we go forward, we want to hone in more on Tier 3 and continue to build upon the foundation set.
And everything we do at Giles is being Giles made. We want to teach our students to be good school citizens, but also be great community leaders as well. So we always talk about what it means to be positive, respectful, responsible, inclusive, determined, and engaged. And at the end of the day, if you are all those characteristics, you are Giles made. And so I'd like to thank once again our amazing team for all your dedication, your hard work, and you put into this plan. Think big, and that's what we're going to do next year. Next school year is think big, and we're going to work very hard to achieve all of our goals that we've set forth. So thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, the 2 plans will be up on our website. Currently, right now, are the 22-23 plans, but tomorrow we'll have the 23-24 plans, and I have 80-page documents. Really a lot of data. So if you are interested in learning more about data, please take a look at those, and you can see them. Thanks very much, Justin. You guys are very good.
We'll go to administrative reports now. Yes, Ms. Susan?
We have been invited to participate in the Memorial Day gathering from the village, which is on May 28th, Sunday, May 28th at noon. And we do need to let them know if any of our representatives will be there, and if you'd like to purchase a wreath to lay at the memorial.
Where is that?
You guys want to think about it, let me know. Does anyone want to attend the parade? It's on Sunday, May 28th, so it's Memorial Day weekend on the Sunday. I will get, I'll fill out the required paperwork and then purchase the wreath. I do want to remind the board that your statement of economic interest, you should have received an email, SEI, is what the email will state, that is due May 1st. That is on the Cook County Ethics Board. Please make sure you do that because we do get fined for that if you don't complete that. On May 1st, if you did receive an email, let me know and I'll make sure that you receive it. This is not for new board members. This will be for board members for this who have been on the board in the past year. Your turn will be next year.
Okay.
Your statement of economic interest.
They'll send you an email. And
Yeah,
then
you'll
another one,
receive
and
it.
then another one.
Basically, it's an ethics thing that you're filling out that you're ethical in your position on the board. I'm really excited to share with you today on your desk was the single audit that we had to go through this year because we received over $750,000 in revenue, grant revenue. They audited our ESSER grant and our IDEA grant, which is our special education grant. We do not have any findings. We're sharing that with you today. And in the consent agenda today is the acceptance of the single audit. Very happy. Mrs. DeBoer did a wonderful job. I want to thank her for that, for work. She had to find and identify 80 different items for the auditors when they came in that day, and they spent a lot of time with us to really fine tooth combing our audits. So thank you very much, Mrs. DeBoer. I have been having a couple of conversations with collection agencies regarding some fees that we still have that are outstanding. Interesting, one of them that I spoke to has a process that before the company goes to actually affecting their people's credit rating, they have an in-between stage that is a process of them trying to collect it before they go to actually adjusting people's credit scores. And that particular one is they charge us a flat fee. Doesn't matter how much we are owed, they just charge us a flat fee, and that flat fee is anywhere between $8.99 and $20, depending on how old the fee is and how old the debt is. So that might be something interesting to look at. Other companies that I've spoken to do a flat percent. For example, 30% has been the least amount that what I have heard that can even go up to 50% depending on how old the debt is. We have a little time with this. Next month I'll put this in my discussion items, but just wanted to introduce that to you tonight, that is a conversation that I have been having with some collection companies. I got a list of the collection companies from the Illinois School Board Association of Financial ISO. Then my last item that I wanted to speak with you about tonight is a reorganization meeting. As you know, we have 2 board members that are leaving us. Tonight's their last meeting. And then we have 2 new elected board members, which we want to welcome them and congratulate them. In that we have to have a meeting to end the board as it sits right now, and then a meeting to open up the new board. I gave you, just for your edification, the 2 reorganization agendas from May 3rd of 2021, just so that you can see how those run. The one that is the last board meeting, the 7 p.m. meeting, did have a few action items on it. We don't have to have action items on it. For some reason at that point we must have needed to approve those 3 action items. But basically it's opening up a meeting and ending the board as we know it is right now, before we swear in the new board members. Then we would open up the new board, and during that time the purpose is to appoint the president pro tem and do the election of officers, and then committee appointments. At that meeting, it can be decided who's on every committee, or it could be up to the president to make that decision after the meeting. Completely up to the president. So I wanted to share those both with you. Right now, we are scheduled for that meeting for May 1st. However, I think we have some conflict with that evening, so I wanted to have a dialogue with the board on when they would like to organize that meeting. Technically, we're supposed to do between 21 and 40 days of the election. So I don't know if later that week in May would work, or if we want to look at early in the week of May 8th.
Is the first an issue for you?
First and second would be an issue.
First is also an issue.
Is you, okay.
Yeah, the issue with May 3rd and 4th is Kimmy, who would be taking on that role of taking notes, is in Springfield at the ISBO conference. So that may be difficult for us.
So, you said the 8th?
Would the 8th work for everyone? No? Okay. Sure. We can go there. You want to look at the
Where are you going?
20 next week?
For me, I'm gonna get adjustments to whatever works for everybody else.
27th?
Oh, next week?
I'll have to let you know on the 27th. The 27th could work.
Doesn't matter what time of the night.
Yeah. And I'm
Should be
flying out.
relatively quick meetings. It should be quick meetings.
I would, if anything, hold it at 7 o'clock, nothing earlier, and I can possibly swing it on the 27th. Yeah.
And does it work for you, Maria? Yeah? Right?
If we want to put May 4th, unless one else is meeting, we can obviously put on it here. We can set the time slot. The 27th at 7 o'clock?
Let me just get one thing.
Bump it a half hour, we have to do the leads for one.
But I'm out of time. But I come back at 27th, and I'm looking at my flight. It looks like I think it should be.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for 27.
I think I get in back at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock that day, so I should be fine. Well, would you have to reach out to also the new board member as well?
I don't think the other new board members do.
So I mean, send an email out, I mean, what, and obviously that's important.
The 27th will work on my end, it works for everybody else. Amanda, does that work for you?
It's a
fourth grade.
fine arts night.
From 6 to 7:30.
On the 27th?
I believe so.
Yes.
You are correct.
So.
7:30?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's.
If it works for everybody else, Amanda, does that work for you?
7:30.
Yeah, the 27th? Maria?
What time is the fire? What time is
The fine arts is 5:37. Is it 5:45 to 7:15?
I believe so, yes. So. a little earlier.
7:30. This
30 would be perfect.
might be good, although we'll try.
So I don't know, it sounds like tentatively the 27th, which is next Thursday? Yeah, okay, so next Thursday, 7:30. No, I'm trying to make it work, because we're already getting to May 8th, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah, so tentatively, if something changes.
Okay, I will reach out to the other board member.
Okay.
And thank you. And that is everything on my report.
I just had one quick question. I know we got sidetracked with the meeting, but when we create the policy and procedures of the new fees and potentially collections, how are we going to get that out to parents to know? Because it's obviously new. This is something we've never done before, right?
Well, I have already, what I have done is for preschool and kindergarten registration, I actually have a form that they have to sign that states everything that we have in the policy, that they understand it has to be paid by December 31st, that they understand that they would not be eligible to return to the program in preschool or have to move to half day if it's not paid by that date. So I have that in our, and everyone has signed that so far. I also included that in the tracks that we have going out weekly on Fridays. We haven't done any other big registration blasts at this point, but we will be starting that in May, a little bit before May. So far, the only changes that we made are the ones I've just highlighted right now on December 31st. One thing we may want to think about, especially if we're looking at moving to collections, is having a date that everything else is due, because currently right now in our policy, we don't have that date. So when we're looking at moving to collections, if we go that route, we have to be late paying. And so if we don't have a date down there, it's difficult to say that they're late. So that would be something we would be looking at changing. Tonight's policy is just those things I just highlighted, which is the 31st for preschool and for kindergarten tuition.
Thank you.
And that's everything for me.
Okay, Susan, thank you. Special education report, Mr. Messer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've actually continued a lot of the longstanding supports that we have begun since the beginning of the year. One of the continued supports that we've offered recently was actually our SPED data days, which if you were here during the first trimester, kind of a rehash of much of that, where we looked again very closely at individual goals, tried to determine where most of our students are falling as we continue through the school year, seeing if those supports are in fact either working or continue to working. So that has been a very successful time to kind of collaborate with our teams. We have been able to meet a lot of those goals. We have been able to develop some next steps for some of our students, especially as we look towards, believe it or not, already the next school year. We really are trying to make sure that we are planning forward for them as much as possible. So thank you to the teams for that. Our SPED committee has also met, continued to meet, and we have actually focused very heavily on making sure that we are kind of fine-tuning some of the special education procedures that we're looking to enact for next year. They've been very awesome, just an incredible group to really help find some really solid solutions that we are looking forward to improve that effectiveness. And one of the ideas that has been tossed around is in some type of an IEP boot camp over the summer. So that has been really kind of a fun idea to toss around, having our teachers come in to really figure out how to really craft an IEP really carefully and very thoughtfully for us students. So. In addition, we've also been continuing our West 40 collaboration, and this is actually kind of a two-pronged approach. We have some support that is going towards our co-teaching model. So again, really strengthening that relationship between the special education teacher and the general education teacher to provide that seamless instruction and seamless provision of service. At the same time, we also have been able to contract with one of the BCBAs through West 40, and she's been able to help support some students who have individualized behavior plans. So that's been very helpful to kind of continue to have an outside lens to see how we can continue to support. Another support that we have actually been looking at is our ESY program. ESY is similar, but not the same as our summer school program. ESY is specifically focused on our students with special needs who have individual goals. We are making sure that we have the appropriate referral process for that. Our teachers have been working very diligently to sift through some of their goals and the data to determine who would be appropriate to continue their learning. So that we don't see that summer slide as much. We want to make sure that they're continuing to grow over the summer. So we are currently enrolling. We will go all the way through till the first week in May. And then lastly, I just wanted to again thank Dr. Raviola for allowing an additional professional development opportunity for Autism Awareness Month. I was able to do a PD for our staff, kind of give us some additional professional development in autism spectrum disorders and how we can kind of help support our students who are in our gen ed classrooms and in any environment to really make sure that we expand our knowledge of how individuals with autism perceive the world and how we can kind of make learning a more fruitful and beneficial experience for them. So again, thank you for that, and I hope to continue bringing more information to the board. So, any questions for the board?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our building principal reports, Mr. Bianchi and Dr. Raviola.
Okay, thank you. Our dental exam forms for 6th graders are due prior to May 15th to the Giles School nurse, Mrs. Lubash. So if Mrs. Lubash has been reaching out to our 6th grade families that have not submitted that, so please make sure that you have the forms turned in. Again, that date is May 15th. Last Friday, our 8th graders had a transition day field trip at Ridgewood High School. It was a huge success. They were broken up into 5 groups. They had a tour of the facility. They had a discussion on academics, technology, athletic and activities, and building procedures and policies. So our students came back fully having an understanding of their expectations for next school year. So their time here is coming to an end quickly. So we wish them the best as they finish out their year here at Giles, and then their success as they go on to high school. One change I'd like to make from your board packet, the vision and hearing screening, I had listed Friday, April 21st. I needed to move it to Tuesday, April 25th. That'll be for all 8th grade students, also our students with IEPs and our students with 504s. Our school nurse, Mrs. Lubash, will be the individual testing our students for that vision and hearing screening. Staff professional development. On Friday, April 28th is a SIP day. That means students are dismissed at 11:50 at Giles. However, the staff work continues with our staff. And what we're going to be continuing to do is our PLC process, and we're going to continue deconstructing our subject level priority standards. On Friday, May 26th is a no school for students. It is a Teachers Institute Day. What we're going to be doing is having a Mastery Connect training. Mastery Connect is our grade book. The students use it for their assessments. That's what gets pushed out to parents during progress reports. So we're going to be talking about leveraging data to inform instruction for teachers. And that's going to be a 90-minute workshop for our staff. And then we're also going to do an additional 90-minute activity on Mastery Connect in action for teachers. So we're excited for that opportunity to help support our teachers so that they can do their jobs and have success with our students. End of the year activities, May 11th at Giles is our 5th grade fly-up night. That's for our current 4th graders. They're going to be coming over to Giles, parents and students. And it's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. We're excited about that. We'll start out in the gym with a presentation by myself, by Mrs. Aarons. We'll also have our band director give a presentation to our rising 5th graders. And then we will break up listening to all of the staff, of the 5th grade staff, and then we'll do a tour of the facility for our current 4th graders, rising 5th graders. On May 23rd, the band will be taking a field trip to Six Flags Great America. This is a huge field trip for our students. The band program, these students are really dedicated. They come early every week. They're at school. They're practicing. They're doing everything they need to do. Academically, they're doing well in the classroom. They even have activities, band practice after school. So we like to really reward these students for sticking through it from the start of the school year to the end of the school year. Our band is amazing. They do amazing things. And so we really want to reward those students. So Six Flags on May 23rd. On May 31st, our 8th graders will be taking a field trip to Main Event in Hoffman Estates. On June 1st, our 8th grade will have a celebration from 4:30 to 6:30 at Giles School. That will be with all the 8th grade students and the faculty and staff of the 8th grade class. On June 2nd, the 8th graders will have a dance, 6:30 to 8:30 at Giles School. As a reminder, students must be in attendance during the day to attend this dance. All those 8th grade celebrations, please note that all student fees must be paid for an 8th grade student to be able to participate in these events. And then finally, June 5th is our 8th grade graduation. It'll be held at Ridgewood High School. It'll be at 7 p.m. The doors will open at 6:15 at Ridgewood High School. And I've shared already a letter to our 8th grade families. I will plan on sharing that letter again as we get a little bit closer. So the end of the year is coming for our 8th graders, and we're excited for them and their new opportunities. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you. So I want to recognize our first grade team and our second grade team because they both recently held grade level reading nights here at Lee. For our second grader, students were able to participate in various activities, making a bookmark, writing about reading, reading with a parent, and got to enjoy some milk and cookies too. So that's always a nice way to top the night off. And also want to send a thank you to the Kiwanis Club. I don't know if I said that right, but we'll roll with it. From Eisenhower Library, who came out and actually gifted all of our second graders with a book. Which was a really nice gesture. And also wanted to thank Eisenhower Library for coming out and allowing students the opportunity to sign up for a library card on the spot. I think we had about 30 or so library cards that were issued that night, which was awesome. We got a great library in town, and it's great to see our families taking advantage of that. Similarly with first grade, they had a camping theme, which was really exciting. They were kind of camping out in the gym. We had families who brought out blankets and kind of made their little thing. They got to read. Our teachers put together a little presentation about how to pick a good, just right book for your child, because that's always kind of a challenge. So they showed them a few different tips and tricks, like the 5-finger rule, which was one of them, and also the Scholastic Book Wizard, some different apps that they could use to pick out those books that are just right for their children. And because it was camping, they had to have some s'mores, which they kind of made a little s'mores trail mix, which was fun and exciting too. So I just wanted to highlight those because those are some events that have been put together this school year, and it's nice to have big school-wide events, but I think actually having some of these grade level events have been nice as well, because it's a little bit of a smaller group, and being able to see the teachers and have some conversations and whatnot seemed to be pretty successful. So in addition to that, this past week, I want to thank the PTA for providing a wacky science assembly. So all students were able to come on down to the gym. We had 2 different assemblies, one for kindergarten, first grade, one for second, third, and fourth, where they got to see some different demonstrations. So we appreciate that opportunity for our students here. And on that same science theme, on May 5th, Ridgewood High School is actually going to be coming to Lee to showcase some STEAM activities with our 4th graders, trying to kind of get them pumped up for some of the STEAM initiatives that we've been hearing about. So we're really excited for that opportunity as well. In addition to that, we have, like Mr. Biedke mentioned, we have a SIP Day coming up, April 28th. Here at Lee, we're going to be focusing on social studies professional development. Social studies is one of those things that sometimes goes by the wayside with all the other content that we teach, but we are planning to implement a new social studies curriculum next school year. It's called Studies Weekly, and we're excited about that. We think that it'll be one way to increase our ELA scores in regards to informational text, but through that specific content area. So all of our teachers will have a training for that on April 28th, and then on May 26th, at the Teacher Institute Day, when we will not have school, we'll have a STEM Scopes training focused around our science curriculum. And our science committee and our social studies committees, they've been working hard to identify our power standards that we're going to be focusing on. And these trainings will help facilitate some of the work that they've put in and make sure that everyone is ready to implement all that content for next school year. And as you can see from our school improvement plans, that really did take a lot of work from all of our teams. We got a lot of good things going on. We want to continue that work, and I definitely appreciate your support in that process. So thank you.
Board, any comments or questions? Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Our building discipline reports for Giles and Lee. I'll turn over to Mrs. Ahrens. Mrs. Brunel. Giles and Baker.
We have one in-school suspension to report in violation of board policy 7:190-10. Would you like me to read 10?
At Lee, we have one out-of-school suspension in violation of board policy 7:199.
Thank you both. Mrs. Guzzo, staffing report from them?
Yes, we'll be discussing the staffing report in closed session.
Board committees, no report on policy and development for the grounds, right?
I don't have anything new. I know the preschool area in the lower levels being worked on.
The drywall arrived today, so.
What's that?
The studs in the drywall arrived today, so that's our next step.
Driving by, I kept seeing plumbing trucks, so.
Plumbing is almost finished here at Lee, and then we'll be moving over to John.
Other than that, nothing new. The building and grounds meeting from some weeks ago, very comprehensive, and we'll be hearing more as each thing progresses.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Communications?
No update.
Finance?
No update.
The same is gonna apply, so negotiations, education, parent, teacher advisory, behavioral, those are all as needed, especially the last three, we haven't had any meetings on Norwich Park.
Nothing to report.
Consent agenda, I ask the board to consider the approval of the consent agenda. Any discussion? Okay, I ask for a motion to approve consent agenda.
No motion.
Okay, motion to go into second agenda. I'll just make a quick note here. Board member Mazzano had an emergency he had to attend to, so that's why he's no longer with us. But, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Ferrari?
Yes.
Mrs. Blatala? Yes. Mr. Mazzano? Mrs. Taylor?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Okay, sure. We'll go into our discussion items.
Thank you. My first item are new teaching positions that we're proposing for 2023. There are three of them that I want to highlight. A 7th and 8th grade writing teacher. You heard a little bit about this during the presentation from Giles. We feel that additional time is needed for focus on writing for ELA. So right now, there's an ELA block that includes reading and writing. We would be taking that writing part out of the block and have individual time for writing. The curriculum will be the same curriculum we're using, so we'll tie into the current ELA curriculum. Right now, we are proposing that for only 7th and 8th grade. We'll give that a trial for next year and then see if that's something we want to move down to 5th and 6th grade. The next position that we're looking for 23-24 is a social and emotional learning specialist. This individual is grant funded through the PBIS community grant. And this will be looking at SEL needs in general education settings. So currently right now we have social workers that are working with students with exceptionalities because they have time in their IEPs. And they also work with students of general education, but sometimes we have more need than we have people and time. So we're looking at a social emotional learning specialist to be helping with that. Kind of think of that a little bit like the interventionist that we looked at earlier this year that was working with academics. This person would be working with social emotional learning. And finally, we will be keeping a close eye on kindergarten and preschool. Currently, right now, we have 4 kindergarten teachers for next year. We'll watch our numbers. We typically have 5 and see if we need another kindergarten teacher. And currently, we have 2 preschool teachers. We'll look to see if we need a new preschool teacher. Here are our current numbers. In kindergarten, we have 31 full-day people registered, 14 half, and in preschool, 18 students overall. Moving on, I would like to propose next month a change to the 23-24 calendar for Lee School. As you recall, we did this months ago. But I think what we need to consider is taking March 19th, which is a primary election day for presidential primary, I think we need to change that day from an attendance day with our students to perhaps a Teacher Institute day. And we can have all the teachers over at Giles. The reason for that is, it's just, we don't have a secure space at Lee. What we did for the election this year is we used this room, we put down half of the curtain, we put the curtain down, I'm sorry, to half the gym, and voting was taking place right here. We used the doors over here, and we did have support from the Norwich Police Department all day, so we had a police officer on site. However, we're still bringing people into the building, and it isn't really best practice for us. So next month, I will be bringing to you a suggestion of changing the 23-24 calendar to move that institute day to March 19th. And I think we just have to not be in school when we have election day. I have contacted, I want to say it was November, Cook County to see if we can get the election moved outside of the school district. Unfortunately, we are a public building, and they do not allow us to move out of the school. It is our civic duty to have the election here at the school, which has been going on for years and years and years. However, just a safety, more of a safety issue now than ever. So I'll be bringing that to you next month. We did, Mr. Banky and I met with Evan Clayton from the Norwich Park District regarding the enrichment program. So a few things that I wanted to share with you from that meeting. We have one more session that is going to be going out soon for the 22-23 school year. And then we're going to be looking at surveying the students in May in order to gather information about the 23-24 school year. We realized that we need to put a communication plan in place because we don't think we're communicating out the classes at Giles as well as we could be. So we're going to, in this communication plan, we'll be blasting it separately, so it's not just on the part of track, so it might get a different attention to it. Also, we're going to have the teachers talking about the classes, and perhaps even trying to have the teachers, more of the teachers teaching the classes. And then, because we have not had the teachers really point them out. So right now, we're relying on parents reading the tracks, talking to their Giles students about the classes. But if we can get the Giles students excited about the classes and talking to their parents about being part of it, we think that we might be more successful with having the students sign up. We're also going to have the flyer sent sooner so that there's more time to sign up. Then looking at 23-24, we are going to, as I mentioned, survey the students. We'll do it in May, we'll do it in November. We are going to sit down with the Park District in June and plan out the whole session for the year. Not specifically what we're doing in every session, but just when they begin, when they end, so we can communicate that with families as well. Work up more time for sign-ups, that communication plan. We're going to separate out some 5th and 6th grade classes from some 7th and 8th grade classes. So that might be more appealing to 5th and 6th graders and 7th and 8th graders. We're also going to gather more staff input and hope to have more staff involved. And then they're going to identify monthly special events. For example, they may do an event where Giles students can come in and play basketball. Have an open gym, maybe do 3-on-3 games, and they can organize that. Have some food in the lower gym area, and put something together that the Park District will be running through the enrichment program. So we'll continue to communicate with Evan, and Bob and I had a great meeting with him back at the first week of April, I believe it was, and be able to continue to grow the program as the board wishes it to be. I wanted to share with you a little information about the Norwich Community Grant. It's been mentioned also when we were discussing the school improvement plans. As you recall, we were given the grant last year. The grant is a partnership between NAMI, which is the National Association of Mental Illness, and Midwest PBIS, and the Eisenhower Library, Ridgewood High School, and we're hoping to get Norwich Park District involved in it as well. So giving you a little bit of background into it, in 22-23, which is the current year we're in, we hired a leader who was running our part of the grant and representing us. He was gathering data, he was working with our partners, creating our goals. Then we were having monthly meetings in 22-23, which was our administrative team and representatives from all of those different entities that I already mentioned to you. And West 40, I'm sorry, was also there. And in those meetings, we shared data, we talked about systems, we were creating problem statements. So what in our district, in our community, Ridgewood High School, can we do to improve our community? Now we're shifting a little bit, looking at that in 23-24. Instead of staying with the leader system that we hired for 22-23, we're looking at the SEL specialist that I mentioned to you a couple of slides ago. This is a grant-funded position that will be working on teaching and leading the implementation of our social and emotional learning. That individual will be working with the grant as well and working with our administrators and our teachers. Now we're bringing in more of our teacher involvement. In July of 2023, we have 2 days of training on our interconnected systems framework. So this framework is working on how do we now connect with Ridgewood, how do we connect with West 40, with NAMI, with our community, and to be able to be a mentally healthy community, make sure our students and our families are healthy and we can give them the need, the information they need. So that is just a little information. We are looking at hiring a nurse and an occupational therapist next year directly as district employees. Currently, right now, we contract out for a one-to-one nurse for a student with medical needs, and we contract out for our occupational therapist. We are looking at hiring them on as district employees next year, which will mean that they will be following the CBA for salaries and benefits. We feel this is beneficial because it establishes more of a relationship with a person that hopefully can stay with us for years to come and provide consistent services for our students. So they have the same nurse, they have the same occupational therapist year after year. I gave you a paper copy today of the PACE framework. So just a little background about the PACE framework is this was identified that school districts are required, beginning in 6th grade, to have an updated framework by July 1st, and this is ours. This was created in partnership with Ridgewood High School, with Knoyer, with Union Ridge. And our framework actually begins with, you can see all the way on the left, with the end of kindergarten. And our principals all met to put this framework down on paper. And so we can meet the requirements and also be able to identify experiences for our students in order to make informed decisions about career and college planning. And I know that maybe in kindergarten that sounds early to you. However, the idea of what they're learning in kindergarten is understanding about money and understanding about community workers. Very age-appropriate things to be learning in kindergarten so that it builds up to the end of 12th grade. Districts, as I mentioned, are required to have this, and by July 1st of 2025, we are required to adopt and implement the career implementation and career development in accordance with the activities. So just by this July, we were required to have this together, and then to implement this, we have a little more time to do that. But of course, the principals are already working on that with our teams. Here's a copy of it, and this does need to be posted on our website in a predominant place so that everyone can see it. And as you can see, it is the collaboration between Ridgewood, District 80, Knoyer, and Union Ridge. We're really proud of the work, and I want to thank Bob and Sean for their work on this. This was a lot of work that they put together. And the last thing I want to mention is the Norwich and Howard Heights Kindness Day. We've had a little bit of change with our plan. Previously, we were talking about collecting toiletry items, personal care items. However, that has shifted. The PTA is now organizing a wrapped candy drive for the Senior Assistance Center in Norwich. Candy will be collected next week at both schools. And then on Kindness Day, which is April 29th, they will gather here at Lee School from 10 to 12 organizing that donation for the Senior Assisted Center. And there'll also be an opportunity, a station for kids to work on making birthday cards for seniors. And that's my report. Any questions?
Board?
Thank you.
Okay, board comments? Anyone? Well, this would be the time to make some comments, as Mrs. Guzzi told me, right? So I don't have anything written down, I don't want to keep it too long. Being that this is my last meeting and Lou's last meeting, just a couple words. Even just looking at the crowd tonight, when we got on the board in 2019, I can remember, Frank, Renzo, Lou, we will forever be connected, and I'm happy about that. The board is in good hands, Frank, under your leadership, which I'm assuming is going to happen. The board's in really good hands, and I'm just a phone call away. If I can ever help you, I'm still here. When we got on, there was 20, 30, 40 people in the crowd. You don't see that today, and I think that's a testament to maybe, hopefully, the trust that was built. We have some regulars that come to meetings, and those regulars know who's on the board and who knows, they know what the board will probably decide to do before they do it. And as a board member, that was a good feeling. We try to earn the trust of the community. Hopefully we earn the trust of more than not. So that was good. Before I forget, Amanda, congratulations to you. It's an exciting time. Congrats on your election to the board. You're going to do a great job. And you'll have people here to support you. To the administration and to Neat, I know Neat was here. I was hoping you would kind of stay, but I understand it's late. Every decision that this board made was in the best interest of a lot of people. The students that go here, the kids, the community, the parents. There's so many moving parts. The administration, the teachers union, staff or non-union, but I just want people to know whatever decision we made was with a lot of thought and a lot of heart and in the best interest of all those entities combined. It was never just what the board wants to do, we're going to do it. It was taking, there is so much discussion behind the scenes that, you and the public will not see. Closed session and stuff like that, we really put the time in, and it was a collective effort from everybody that was on the board. A lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of mental thought. So I want you to know that. The restructuring of the admin team, having a principal and an assistant principal in each building now was good, we thought, right? We restructured that. Michelle in place as our superintendent, career here over 25 years at District 80, and now you're leading the district. It's in good hands with you. So I wrote a couple of notes down. I don't want to forget anything. 4 years, there's over 100 meetings. It's not just the board meetings, right? It's the agenda meetings. It's the negotiation meetings with the teachers that Frank and Renzo and myself sat on. It's committee meetings that other board members partook in. And, you come across a lot of people along the way. And, I think about Ralph. Ralph came in at a time that we needed somebody to come in and be that interim person for us, and he did. And I learned a lot from everybody I met. So I would be grateful on that. So I don't want to make what I'm saying about me, I want to make it about everybody I came across. Being a board member and a board president for 4 years put a lot of knowledge into my head, and that's because of other people. So I'll be forever grateful on that. And I think that's about it, The teachers union, the administration, all do a great job. And this is their livelihood, this is their career. They come here to teach art and to, we talked about discipline, Bob, when we first started. We supported you, and we wanted to get that. you know, kind of in order, and everything's a work in progress, you know. Sometimes people want things happen overnight, and it just doesn't work like that. So, but I believe the district, the board, is in a better place than when we found it 4 years ago. And I also believe with the people staying on the board and the people part of the board, it's going to be in a better place in 4 years. And that's how it should be, right? We're all kind of just passing through. And, you know, my 4 years was passing through. I gave it everything I had. I want the community to know that. A lot of times, you know, I thank my wife and my kids too, because they're not here. I missed my son's game tonight because of that, but I made a commitment and we stick to it. But so it's in a better place than we found it, and it will continue to get better. There's some great people in this district, great people in the community, and I'm proud to be a part of it. So if I left something out, I didn't mean to, but that's about it. That's you know, and I thank everybody for that. So thank you for a couple minutes of your time. Yeah. Okay.
If I may just jump in there.
Sure.
I want to just thank you for being the board president. I know that it's a difficult position, every board position is, but every single time that I called you, you answered the phone, even when you were on vacation. We talked many times when you were on vacation. So I want to thank you for all of the time that you put in. I know at one point you had how many meetings at once? It was way over 100 at that point.
Yeah, it was 137. That was at year 2, so I stopped at that point. I said it's probably better to stop counting.
So from the administration, from the district, we thank you for your time with us.
No problem.
We really appreciate
Thanks for saying that, Michelle.
Appreciate your help.
Thank you. All right. I'd ask the board to consider a motion to adjourn the closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, service results, specific employees, the purchase of lease or real property, or for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired and review of closed session minutes. Any discussion on that? I'll ask for a motion for everything I just said. Renzo, seconded by Frank.
Mr. Berardi?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mrs. Theodore?
Yes.
Mrs. Blatman? Yes.
All right, so that motion carries. It's 9:02. We'll take a couple minute break. 9:15 we'll be closed, if that works. Okay, we're back in open session at 10:40 p.m. We got a personnel items. That's the board to consider the motion to approve teacher placements for 2023-2024 school year. Discussion. I'm always for a motion to approve teacher placements for the 2023-2024 school year.
Motion.
All right, second by Maria. Can you roll call?
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mrs. Theodore?
Yes.
Mr. Berardi?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Curious. Consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Sean Viola, principal of Lee School. Discussion? I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Sean Viola, principal of Lee School. Danny, seconded by Lorenzo. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Theodore?
Yes.
Mr. Berardi?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
And that carries. Ask the board to consider a motion to approve 2023-2024 contract for Robert Biecki, principal of Giles School. Discussion? Motion, I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Robert Biecki, principal of Giles School.
Second.
Frank, seconded by Renzo. Roll call.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Mr. Berardi?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mrs. Theodore?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Carries. Ask the board to consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract of Allison Carmel, assistant principal of Lee School. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract of Allison Carmel, assistant principal of Lee School.
Motion.
Renzo, second by Maria. Roll call.
Mr. Berardi?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mrs. Theodore? Yes. Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Carries. Consider, ask the board to consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract of Christine Harris, assistant principal of Lee School. I'm sorry, Giles School. Giles School. Discussion. That's okay. Any discussion? It is Giles. I need a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract with First Team Parents, Assistant Principal at Giles.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Renzo, second by Frank. Roll call, Kim.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mrs. Taylor? Yes. Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mr. Plaza?
Yes. And that carries. Consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Peter Masters, Director of Special Education. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract with Peter Masters, Director of Special Education.
Second.
Fanny, seconded by Frank. Roll call.
Mrs. Taylor? Yes. Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes.
And that carries. Consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for John Rowe, Director of Technology. Discussion. I need a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for John Rowe, Director of Technology.
Motion.
Frank, second by Maria. Roll call.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Lala? Yes. Mr. Plaza?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Taylor? Yes.
Carries. Consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Derek Sellers, Supervisor of Buildings and Grounds and Maintenance. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Derek Sellers, Supervisor of Buildings, Grounds and Maintenance.
Motion.
Frank, second by Maria. Roll call, Kim.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mrs. Taylor? Yes. Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Carries. Consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Hillary Sienna, District Treasurer. Discussion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Hillary Sienna, District Treasurer.
Motion.
Lorenzo, second by Payne. Roll call.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Taylor? Yes. Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Carries. Next, board, consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Mike Lewandowski, Buildings and Grounds. Discussion? I'll ask for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Mike Lewandowski, Buildings and Grounds.
Motion.
Frank, second by Rick. Roll call.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mrs. Taylor? Yes. Mr. Plaza?
Yes. Carries. And finally, consider a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Patrick Rossi, Buildings, Grounds, and Maintenance Consultant. Discussion. I'll ask the board for a motion to approve the 2023-2024 contract for Patrick Rossi, Buildings, Grounds, and Maintenance Consultant.
Motion.
Second.
Renzo, second by Frank. Can you roll call, please?
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala? Yes. Mrs. Taylor? Yes. President Plaza?
Yes. And that carries. Ever so important. I know it's late, but it's reflection time. Right, Michelle?
That's very important.
So if you can prepare with us on this.
Oh.
I know.
Someone be really excited. Is your last reflection?
I need a motion to adjourn at 10:47 p.m.
Second.
Maria, seconded by Frank. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.